Welcome to Billings. Welcome to Billings, Louis Ingalls.
So can I just get a quick show of hands? How many of you are from Billings originally? Okay, a few of you. This speech isn't for you guys. You guys can. How about you guys? Or I guess I have another question for you. How many of you are from a small town? The majority of you. There's my audience. I'm from a small town in Wyoming. And you have to understand, people who grew up in Billings, what a big deal it was to come up here. You guys have what's called a mall. Yes, it deserves quotation marks. So I can remember growing up in Wyoming, going to grade school, even all the way up. I can remember. Being at the lunch table, and my friend Jimmy. So I was like, "Hey Jimmy, what are you doing this weekend?" "Yep, I'm going to Billings. We're going to go to Rimrock Mall, and I'm going to get some new school clothes." "Hear that, guys? Jimmy's going to Billings." "Hey Jimmy, how'd you like to have the rest of my oatmeal cream pie?" Jimmy's already gone. He's not even listening. He's already been mobbed by all the prettiest girls in school. Cameras are flashing like he's some sort of paparazzi. He's got a cigar hanging out of his mouth. He's too big of a deal to talk to me. So anyway, Billings, well, it was called the Magic City. When we heard Magic City, we actually heard Billings. We have a mall. Or Billings, home of all-you-can-eat salad and breadsticks at Olive Garden. This Olive Garden was a big deal too because we just didn't have that one. So it was fun to come up here. So anyway, when I moved up here, I got a place in the Heights. Things are going great. Things are going well with my girlfriend. I got a new job. And then I tried to drive home on Main Street at 5 o'clock on a weekend. To a small Wyoming boy, a small town Wyoming boy, the traffic, I just wasn't used to it. So not really about the big city. But you have to understand something about myself, and these guys understand too, that I'm an engineer by trade. So I like to think about how things work. I like to figure out what makes them tick. My wife will tell you that I like to ask why and how. So what I want to know is what the City Planning Commission is thinking when they gave access to the Heights. I can only hope or wish that I was at the council meeting where that was somehow approved. City councilman gets up. So are there any other ideas for access in and out of the Heights? Ooh, me, over here. Yeah, why don't we put tens of thousands of people on the outskirts of town and only give them one precariously narrow road to get to and from every single day? I can't understand that. As an engineer, I can't fathom that. So anyway, I lived in the Heights for about 6 months. And I was lucky enough to get married to my beautiful wife. And I got to move downtown because that's where she lives. I got to tell you, they have the traffic downtown figured out. The one-ways and the avenues. If you catch one green, you're going to catch them all. It's great, right? Well, then one day, I decided to drive in transverse direction to those avenues and go on the streets, 29th Street, 30th Street, Broadway. And that's ridiculous. The traffic is completely biased. You go for about 50 yards and you got to stop for 30 seconds. It's like having a train every single street. Another thing I don't understand about downtown is Division Street. Like I said, I like to think about how things came about. Why in the world is the city going on perfectly fine, its merry way in one direction, and then decides to take a dogleg right? Changes direction. I just can't understand that. Is there some sort of historical event that I don't know about? Perhaps maybe East and West Billings were like East and West Berlin during the Cold War. But I can just imagine now people on the west side saying, "Repent from your crooked ways. We will no longer not align ourselves with true north. The people on the east responded, never, we will always follow the Yellowstone River. Anyway, I can't really understand Billings Street. But Billings has been good to me. It's brought me a new home and a new wife, a new job. It's also taught me some things, some lessons that just to stay away from. One, stay out of the heights during the rush hour. Two, the Olive Garden is not a substitute for every single thing. And most of all, it's taught me that no matter how bad things get, or how rough things get in Billings, at least I'll be part of the elite few who get to live with them all in their town.